I was the masturbating bear. That's the headline that caught my eye on crack.com. Hi, I'm Johnny Mack, your host for Daily Comedy News, and I've never performed as the masturbating bear. Brian Van Hooker wrote an article, and he said in 2009, he was the clip research intern on Late Night with Conan O'Brien. Part of his duties included digging through old episodes to prepare for the final week of shows in February, before Conan departed for The Tonight Show. How'd that work out? That's when he found a clip from an early episode that featured an old recurring bit called Actual Items, where Conan would show newspaper flyers with obviously faked captions. In one episode of Actual Items, he pointed to an image of a plush bear with an oddly positioned arm. The joke went something like, "Order now and get half off this masturbating bear." Brian says he's pretty sure that mention predates the first appearance of the actual masturbating bear character, but he wasn't positive, so he went to the source. Late night writer Michael Gordon, who played the masturbating bear. Gordon thinks, yeah, that's probably where it came from. He was chosen to play the bear because before playing the masturbating bear, he was already playing bears on the show. He says, my fellow writer Brian McCann used to do this bit where he was a loser, like loser on the beach, loser in a hot air balloon. And every time it ended up with him being attacked by a bear. This was me always playing the bear, so I did it for this one too. Who knew what it would become in this industry? During the last week of shows for Late Night in New York, Conan announced that they were going to The Tonight Show at 11:30, and they couldn't bring the masturbating bear. He wasn't fit for 11:30, so they decided to freeze the bear in carbonite so future generations could enjoy the masturbating bear. They did this fantastic effect where I was put into a cylinder, after which I began masturbating. When Conan pushed a button, smoke came up, and when it cleared, there was a beautiful, full-size masturbating bear frozen in carbonite. But then Carrie Fisher showed up and said, you can't do this to the bear. People love the bear. She pushed the same button as Conan and undid the freezing, and the actual masturbating bear ran away. The bear never did appear on The Tonight Show, but when Conan went to TBS, they did a show where they checked in on a lot of the old characters. The masturbating bear had gotten a job at a local TV station where they do the lottery numbers. The joke was the lottery guy would reach into the diaper and pull the lottery ping pong balls out of there. The masturbating bear last appeared on an episode of Stephen Colbert's show back in 2014. Vanity Fair was speaking to Jerry Seinfeld, and they were like, hey, Jerry, there's no Titanic figure like Carson who can make or break a career. The need for content might be rushing some comedians to the majors before they're ready. Do you think today's comedians are missing out on something? Jerry said, I thought that about my generation, and I started in the 70s. I was just starting out, and I was taken to an afternoon show Bob Hope was doing in New York, and I asked Bob Hope if I was missing something because I wasn't going through what he went through, meaning coming through vaudeville. Jerry said, everybody has to exist where they are. Of course, I think they're missing something, but they're having something I never had. It's a liquid universe. Dusty Slay is a comedian who should absolutely be on your radar. He is one of my current favorites. He's got a bit that really cut through where he did an analysis of the lyrics to Jimmy Buffett's It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere. I highly, 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 highly suggest you seek that out. Dusty Slay, 5 O'Clock Somewhere. Great bit. One of those bits that'll probably be his signature bit his entire career. He's fantastic. He spoke to 1819 News. Within a year of graduating high school, Dusty had already dropped out of community college, been arrested for underage consumption of alcohol and possession of marijuana, lost his driver's license, failed to enlist in the military, and purchased his childhood trailer for $1,000. He was working at Western Sizzlin'. Sounds like the kind of restaurant I'd actually go to, right? It's probably like an $8 steak and a salad bar. A military recruiter encouraged Dusty Slay to enlist. Dusty said, my whole mentality was, I'm going to get some free college. I'm going to see a bit of the world. I thought, hey, who's going to mess with America? We're the biggest and baddest. We're never going to be at war again. Then he was arrested, and officials scheduled his court date for after he was supposed to ship off to boot camp. He was supposed to ship off in August of 2001, but because of the court case, he wasn't allowed to. So Slay was home, and he purchased and lived in the trailer he grew up in for the next 2 years. He said, things are going great. I just lived in that trailer. I worked, had a lot of fun. I had tons of friends. People come over and hang out, so I wasn't just alone over there. Atsuko Akatsuka has her special on HBO tonight. Looking forward to this one. She explained she learned how to socialize from her grandmother. Her joke, whenever I tried to make friends as a kid, I was always like telling war stories. This one's called The Intruder. It's on HBO Max tonight. Have you joined the $2 club? What's that, Johnny Mac? Well, I went to buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews and I created a $2 tier. You can become a recurring member. Once a month, you'll send me $2. Support the show. Be in the $2 club, huh? The New York Times had their list of the best comedy of 2022. Little early. I've been working on mine, as you know, if you listen every day, but there's a bunch of specials that either just came out or are still to come out. I want to see them all before I make an end-of-year list. Plus, it's good filler the week between Christmas and New Year's. You know what I'm saying? Like, the news gets kind of slow here, and you got a podcast. You got to fill the slots, Johnny Mac. Jason Zinnemann, who does great work for the Times. I have a lot of respect for his work. He is the author of the article. I will respectfully disagree with some of his opinions, but his opinions are probably more valid than mine. For Best Special, he went with Jared Carmichael's Rothaniel, and that's what made me do this. And I'm like, what? Really? Jason writes, Rothaniel is a radically intimate, cinematically shot production and a departure for him and stand-up more broadly. Its melancholy tone and patient pace set up new kinds of clever jokes, and its exquisite aesthetic features stunning and unexpected shots staged by the director. That was a very hard sentence to say. You heard take 3. The way he interacts with the audience displays a vulnerability that's as moving as it is funny. So that's what Jason has as Best Special. I don't even have it on my list. Again, I'm not saying Jason's wrong. I'm just telling you I don't have it on my list. Best Debut, odds goes The Intruder. I guess Jason had a screener. It's on tonight. We better watch it. The Funniest Special, Earthquake Special, Legendary on Netflix. All right, I have to make sure I watch that one. I don't even remember Netflix putting that in front of me. I know I talked about the release of the special on this podcast, but I don't remember actually seeing it on Netflix. Earthquake is very funny. In this special, he jumps into large set pieces that range from the mundane, a trip to the doctor, to the extreme, the January 6th attacks, with swaggering, exasperated takes that aim for the gut. Jason writes, his jokes can't translate to the page, but every sentence is something funny in it. All right. And in a category called Best Member of the Mitch Hedberg Family Tree, Jason lists this one, which I currently have as my top stand-up special of the year, Sheng Wang. I was actually talking to my daughter's boyfriend the other day. He was like, what's funny? And this was the special I name-checked. Sheng Wang shares a laid-back drawl, moseying delivery, and gift for ingenious premise. He's learned the right lessons from Mitch Hedberg while mapping out his own style. I agree, it is not a Hedberg clone, but I definitely noticed the influence there and enjoyed the heck out of Sheng Wang. That's on Netflix, and that is currently my top special. And I'm glad to see Jason has it on the list. So that list is in the New York Times. I shared it in the Reddit and on the Daily Comedy News podcast group, so if you want to check that out. And that is your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Join the $2 Club. See you tomorrow.